Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, January 28th meeting of the Onalaska Plan Commission. It is 6 p.m. We'll begin with the roll call. I am the mayor, Kim Smith, Mike Milkey.
Here.
Jared Holter.
Here.
Jan Brock. Tom Smith.
Here.
Eric Archer.
Here.
Bill Lethan.
Here.
Okay, we are all present. The next item is number 2, consideration and action on the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Eric Archer. It's been seconded by Tom Smith to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Is there any discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 3 is public input. We do have several public hearings on our agenda, in which case we will identify or have just hearings on those items. This is the part of the meeting where people can give input on anything they would like to. If you choose to do so, please begin by stating your name and your address and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to give public input this evening? Second call for open public input. Third and final call for public input this evening.
Good evening. This is Clinton Ernest. I'm with Power Secure, and I'd like to speak on the Gunderson Health Project. I'm afraid I don't have the address in front of me, but it was, I believe, item number 6 on the agenda.
Okay. Would you like to speak during the public hearing? To save your comments until that time might be more appropriate, although you are welcome to speak about any topic during public input.
If there's a more appropriate time, I'd defer to that time. Thank you.
Okay, that will be at item 6. You are correct during that time. Okay, so is
thank
there
you so
any
much.
other? Yep, no problem. No problem. That's why I try to explain what we're doing. A lot of times people don't know. Okay, so is there any other public input at this time? Final call for public input. Okay, that is closed, and we'll now move on for consideration and possible action on the following items. Number 4 is a public hearing. This is for a rezoning application to rezone a parcel of land from medium density R3 district to low density residential R1 district. This is located at Crestwood Court to accommodate a new single family development. This is tax parcel ID number 1865590. The applicant is Manzola Construction and Consulting LLC on behalf of Logistics Development Group LLP. If anyone would like to speak in favor of this rezoning application, please do so now. Would anyone like to speak in favor of the rezoning application? Second call for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak in favor of the rezoning application. Not seeing or hearing anyone, I'll declare that portion of the public hearing closed and now ask if anyone would like to speak against the rezoning application. And again, during these portions, if you choose to speak, please begin by stating your name and your address. Anyone wishing to speak against the rezoning application? Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak against the rezoning application. We've had no one speak either for or against the rezoning application, so I'll ask our training manager, Katie Aspenson, to introduce this item in a summary to the Plan Commission this evening for the record. Katie?
Thank you, Mayor. In 2021, the original property owner had requested to rezone this property to the R3 district, which it is today, in order to allow for the construction of up to 8 units on this particular parcel. Due to site constraints, including slope, the need for extensive retaining walls, and necessary grading to allow development to occur, it was determined the original intention for higher density on this property was not feasible. The Live On at 24 comprehensive plan followed future land use category, followed the zoning designation prior to this determination, and the installation of 2 single-family dwelling units instead of 1 single-family dwelling unit adds density, which is the intent of this district in the future land use map. The applicant is now requesting to rezone the parcel from medium density R3 to low density R1 in order to allow for the future subdivision of this parcel to construct 2 single-family dwellings on the Crestwood Estates plat. Forthcoming applications to proceed with this development include amending the Crestwood Estates PUD to acknowledge the new zoning of this parcel and a certified survey map to subdivide the parcel into 2 new parcels, as well as create an outlook. As a public hearing has been held, testimony should be considered. City staff have put together a total of 10 conditions of approval for this development.
Thank you for that, Katie. With that said, I'll turn this matter over to the Plan Commission this evening.
I'll make a motion that we approve the rezoning to rezone partial of land from medium density residential R3 to low density residential R1 district, creating 2 lots that will accommodate 2 single family homes located at Lot 9 of Crestwood Estates, tax parcel number 1865590. Applicant Mazzola Construction and Consulting on behalf of Logistics Development Group with 10 conditions.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Tom Smith that's been seconded by Mike Milky to approve this rezoning with the 10 conditions. Is there any discussion?
I just have a question on item 2C. It talks about the city putting in a water booster pump, and it refers to a date of 2020. Has that booster already been done?
Yes.
And now, how can I put this? Does the city
In-
council have to approve what we do at this meeting on this item because of that?
Bill, can you pull your microphone closer to your
Does
mouth
the-
because so it
Does
projects
the
in?
council,
And it's Bill
like
Lethan
this
who's
one?
speaking for the transcriptionist.
does the council,
That's good. That's great.
does,
I can really hear you now.
since this, it talks about the council doing the booster station, does the council get to vote on it now again?
Okay, so let's let Jared answer that question.
So the original condition number 2 and all the letters that go behind it were part of the original plat. So all those conditions have been met. So the booster station's already been in for a number of years. City owns it and city's maintaining it and using it. So those conditions are kept in the, for purposes of record keeping, they're kept in. They're still shown, but those have all been met already by the plat. So whatever we do tonight will be independent of those because they've already been met.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay, not seeing or hearing, the motion on the floor is to approve this rezoning application with the 10 conditions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to item 5. This is a public hearing for a planned unit development to amend the application, to amend the Onalaska High School PUD, to reduce a number of proposed parking stalls by 10 stalls, to enhance the driveway exit at Hilltopper Drive, for safer interactions between the automobile and bus traffic located at 700 Wilson Street. This is tax parcel ID number 18967-0. The applicant is the School District of Onalaska. I will open the public hearing and remind people to begin by stating their name and address. If anyone would like to speak in favor of this PUD amendment, now is the time to do so. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Second call for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Third call for anyone wishing to speak in favor of this amendment. That portion of the public hearing is now closed, and I will switch over and ask for anyone wishing to speak against. Second call for anyone wishing to speak against. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak against this PUD amendment. Not seeing or hearing anyone, the public hearing is now closed with no comment being received. And I will ask Katie Aspenson to summarize this item and introduce it to the Plan Commission this evening.
Thank you, Mayor. The Onalaska School District is requesting to amend the Onalaska High School PUD to further reduce the number of parking stalls from 453 stalls serving the site to 443 parking stalls. The purpose of the request is to allow for interaction and intersection driveway improvements at Hilltopper Drive and to facilitate safer interactions between students, automobiles, and bus traffic. Density, PUD perimeter, lot area, yard setbacks, building height, environmental design, common open space, architecture, streets, utilities, drainage, traffic calming design, circulation and access, landscaping, and signage. There are no requested deviations outside of what was originally approved in the PUD. So tonight, we're going to be talking about item number 9, parking. There are 4 principal uses that serve this facility, including a secondary school, gymnasium, stadium, and a performance center, with originally 298 stalls before the redevelopment project occurred with the initial PUD. The total proposed parking count was 453, and a reduction of 10 is being requested to serve this development. Previously, the Common Council approved the amendment to allow the reduced number. It was found the daily parking requirements were met for both school uses and also having access parking available for stadium events that occur individually. The applicant requests to further reduce the number of parking stalls only in the southern entrance of the high school, as stated, to improve interactions between students, automobiles, and bus traffic, specifically during school dismissals. City staff are in support of the request for the reduced parking, as the proposed improvements are meant to facilitate more organized and safe interactions. Any future deviations for expansions of the facility would require amending the PUD deviation again, and the school should consider nearby vacant land for future surface parking to serve this facility. City staff have put together a total of 10 conditions of approval for this development. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. With that said, we'll turn this matter over to the Plan Commission. What is your desire this evening?
Mayor, I would like to recuse myself from the conversation.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to, to approve the PUD amendment application to amend the high school PUD to reduce the number of proposed parking stalls by 10, to enhance the driveway and exit at Hilltopper Drive for safer interactions for everybody. This would be at 700 Wilson Street with a tax parcel ID number 18-967-0, with the applicant being the school district of Onalaska.
Thank
Oh, sorry, and with the 10 conditions of approval.
you.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mike Milky has made a motion to approve with the 10 conditions. Bill Lethan has seconded the motion, and let the record also show that Eric Archer has removed himself from this discussion. Is there any further discussion on this item? Jared?
Yeah, I just worked with the engineer for the school district on their design. This was brought about after school started. Worked through this with them, and I think it will be a benefit to the pedestrian traffic in the area. So as staff, we're supportive.
Thank you. Any other- Mike?
Yeah, and I just have one comment. Just, we're decreasing it by 10, but we still have, in the special event, there's still plenty of street parking. There's places that, we can facilitate people to park and still attend events there. So just wanted to point that as well.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve with 10 conditions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, everyone was in favor with 1 abstention. Thank you. We'll continue on with item number 6. Item number 6 is a public hearing for a planned commercial industrial district amendment application to amend the Kinnicooly Road Gunderson System PCID to install a gravel base instead of surfacing the driving parking area with a dustless all-weather material that will surround a microgrid located at 3150 Gunderson Drive. This is tax parcel ID number 183638-0, and the applicant is Gunderson Clinic Limited. We'll open the public hearing. Reminder, just begin by stating your name and your address, and I'll open the public hearing with anyone wishing to speak in favor of this planned commercial industrial district amendment application. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? So online person, now is your time. If you're speaking.
Oh, I apologize. Can you hear me?
That's okay. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Clinton Ernest. I'm with PowerSecure, and the address is 3190 Gunderson Drive on Alaska for the Gunderson Health System, but my company PowerSecure is at 4068 Stirrup Creek Drive, Durham, North Carolina. Mayor, Alderperson, and members of the commission, thank you for providing us with the opportunity to discuss our upcoming microgrid project and some of the unique aspects of the site. I'm Clinton Ernest. I'm the engineer for the project. I work with PowerSecure, and we've been hired by Xcel Energy to provide a microgrid for the Gunderson Health System. The microgrid is planned for the Onalaska Clinic campus to provide a new battery energy storage system in an electrical yard near the existing landfill generation system. This is about 70 foot south of their existing driveway to their site services building, and it's just west of the salt shed. The battery storage system will store energy from the existing solar systems and the existing landfill generator in partnership with La Crosse County. The batteries will discharge this green energy in times of high campus load. Additionally, this microgrid provides improved resiliency to the campus in such that the battery can back up the clinic campus and allow the renewable resources to operate in times of utility outages. As noted, these batteries will be installed within a dedicated electrical yard. This yard is surrounded by a locked fence with slats and will only be accessible for maintenance purposes on a quarterly or less basis. Even during maintenance, no parking will be allowed within the electrical yard, and vehicle access will be limited to equipment loading and unloading. Signs shall be installed at the gates to highlight this no parking requirement. We understand that the city code does require parking areas to have asphalt or concrete surfaces layers. However, because this is a secured fenced area, it is an electrical yard and it has very limited vehicle access. Again, we're expecting quarterly or less access to this yard. We'd like to respectfully request that a surface layer of crushed stone be allowed within this fenced area as to follow typical electrical industry practices. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone else like to speak in favor of this planned commercial industrial district amendment?
Mayor Smith, may I speak at this time?
Yes, please go
Hi.
ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Smith, Alder McMilky, members Holter, Archer, Brock, Lethan, and Smith of the City Planning Committee and guests. My name is Michelle Fix-Westall, and I represent Xcel Energy on this project. Xcel Energy is partnering with Gunderson Health to put Xcel Energy's standard equipment on Gunderson Health's site. This project represents a means of providing resiliency and a means of connecting Gunderson Health's best-in-class LFG system to their electrical system in the event of an outage. As Gunderson Health provides health and medical services to many in the community and its LFG system is in partnership with the city, it's extremely important to Xcel Energy to support the goals of this community and by extension Gunderson Health on this project. To that end, I'd like to explain the importance of having a gravel or crushed rock base for this site. This specification is essential for several reasons. Xcel Energy utilizes the standard surface for all electrical sites, and it's considered an industry best practice. Xcel's standards are based on those established by the IEEE, which is Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, National Electric Safety Code, National Fire Protection Association, Standard for Electrical Safety, and the American Institute for Electrical Engineers Guide for Safety, ensuring that we adhere to the highest and most strict safety and operational guidelines. First, gravel and crushed rock provides superior drainage capabilities compared to other materials like asphalt. And this is crucial for preventing water pooling, which can create safety hazards and operational challenges. During freeze-thaw cycles, I don't have to tell all you, but piled snow can turn into banks, and with an asphalt base, This area could potentially experience significant ponding. Gravel, on the other hand, allows water to drain more effectively, reducing the risk of such issues. Additionally, operational access to the battery energy storage system equipment needs to be maintained throughout the year in the fenced-in area. Gravel and crushed rock bases are easier to manage in terms of snow removal and general maintenance. And they also provide a stable surface that can support the weight of maintenance vehicles and equipment. And the vehicles might just be a small little it's not a full truck or anything. It's also important to consider snow management. Facility staff tend to shovel walkways and pile snow against every fence line. And during the freeze-thaw cycle, this plowed snow can turn into banks and create potential hazards. With an asphalt base, the BESS area would invariably experience that significant ponding I mentioned. And crushed gravel, of course, would have superior drainage, mitigating a potential risk hazard. From a cost perspective, using gravel or crushed rock is more cost effective compared to asphalt or concrete for a few reasons. It is, of course, a lower initial cost, and it's easier, but it's also easier to replace or repair when needed. This is particularly beneficial for future work or modifications to the site, as gravel can be easily moved and reutilized. In contrast, concrete or asphalt would force Gunderson, in this case, to break the surface whenever additional equipment is required or maintenance is deemed necessary. And replacing that hard surface would require re-rolling the site, and the site is not wide enough to fit large-scale equipment. So regarding the concern about dust from the gravel, there are effective dust control measures that could be implemented. For example, applying a dust suppressant or a stabilizer is common practice, easy to do and cost effective. It can also be sprayed down with water on a regular schedule, and regular maintenance can manage that. These measures ensure that the gravel base remains a practical and environmentally friendly option without causing dust-related issues. And lastly, gravel and crushed rock are more environmentally friendly. They allow for better groundwater recharge and reduce the heat island effect associated with asphalt surfaces and concrete. And this aligns with our commitment to sustainable and environmentally responsible practices. So in support of these points, several standards are highlighted. Like I said, IEEE 80 is a standard that gravel improves safety during electrical faults by increasing allowable step and touch voltages, thereby reducing the risk to all involved. National Fire Protection Association 70 provides guidelines on grounding and bonding to ensure electrical installations are safe. And additionally, the AIEEE standards recommend the use of gravel for grounding purposes to improve safety during those faults and lightning strikes. And I understand there may be concerns regarding the applicability of these standards as they're most often applied to a larger scale substation. However, it is important to note that microgrids, while operating around 660 volts, still require robust safety measures. The use of gravel and crushed rock, or crushed rock in this case, helps mitigate potential risks and ensure a safe operating environment for Xcel Energy personnel, Gunderson Health personnel, contractors, and all visitors to the site. Xcel Energy in all cases implements all applicable industry best practices in an effort to protect human and critical grid protection equipment. So in conclusion, a gravel or crushed rock base is the most practical, cost-effective, safe, and environmentally friendly option for this microgrid site. And it ensures proper drainage, ease of maintenance, and long-term sustainability. For these reasons, Xcel Energy believes that this choice will significantly benefit the project and the community. And Mark Vilchuk is our project engineer, and he and I are available to address any questions you may have, as well as Clinton Ernest, from whom you just heard. And we thank you for your attention and consideration this evening.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak in favor of this PCID amendment? Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, either in the room or online? Last call for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Okay, that portion is now closed, and I'll ask if anyone would like to speak against this PCID amendment. Second call for anyone wishing to speak against. Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak against the amendment. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. We heard from 2 people speaking in favor And I'll ask Kitty Aspenson to introduce a summary of this to the Plan Commission this evening. Katie?
Thank you, Mayor. As stated previously, Gunderson Clinic Limited is intending to construct a new microgrid for Xcel Energy and Gunderson Health System on Alaska campus for energy management to aid in resiliency during outages and promote energy stability. The applicant requests to install a gravel layer surrounding the equipment within the new microgrid. Included in the packet is a cover letter provided by the applicant and a site plan showing the proposed development. The following standards were considered in terms of density, PUD, perimeter, lot area, yard setbacks, building height, environmental and cultural design, open space, architecture, streets, utilities and drainage, traffic calming designs, circulation and access, landscaping and signage. There are no necessary deviations and the site is compliant. So we will be focusing on, again, item 9 tonight, which is parking. Off-street parking stalls are not required for the microgrid project. The applicant is requesting to waive the requirement that the area surrounding the electrical equipment be a dustless all-weather material. Instead, use a gravel layer. The applicant states that the microgrid project is an electrical yard that is similar to a utility substation and that it is a standard practice for utility substations and similar electrical yards to utilize a layer of gravel as the ground surface to increase safety and reduce risk. The applicant states that providing a very electrical resistive top layer material, the risk of shock to personnel can be reduced and the severity of damage from a shock if one were to occur can also be reduced. Additional statements related to this issue is included in the applicant's cover letter. The applicant further states that crushed stone is substantially more electrically resistive when compared to concrete or wet concrete. Lastly, the applicant proposes that no parking will be allowed within the fenced-in area and that vehicle access is for loading and unloading only. City staff comments. Based on the statements made by the applicant in reference to safety of personnel working within the microgrid project, the City of Onalaska contracted with Strand Associates to review the documentation provided by the applicant, including the civil plan set, the equipment plan set, and any cover and letters and emails describing the reasoning for the request in order to verify this issue related to safety and the use of gravel in lieu of asphalt or concrete. Mr. Shane Zenz, PE, noted the following items and disagreed with statements made by the applicant. Mr. Zenz's letter is also included in the packet for your reference. The microgrid project, according to Mr. Zenz, is not similar to a utility substation as all equipment is being provided in enclosures with no exposed live parts and conductors are being provided within conduit, which helps reduce electrical shock standards. Additionally, utility substations operate at much higher voltages such as 12,470, 69,000, and 130,000 volts compared to the voltage for all of the microgrid equipment operating at or less than 660 volts. Mr. Zenz agrees that the concern for electrical shock to personnel in the event of a ground fault is valid, and providing an electrical resistive top layer of material around the new microgrid equipment is a good idea. And as mentioned in the cover letter, the higher the resistivity of the top layer, the less likely that personnel will experience a shock because of a ground fault. However, Mr. Zenz provided the following source, a link to that is in the packet from the October 2021 article, Service Material Resistivity by Electrotechnic, that disagrees with the applicant's cover letter. The data provided shows that providing an asphalt layer around the new microgrid would provide a higher resistive top layer than gravel and thus a safer surface for operating personnel. The resistivity of the different surface materials have been included in packet for reference, which came out of the reference provided by Mr. Zenz. Based on the information provided by Strand Associates, city staff do not support the request to provide a gravel layer surrounding the microgrid project for the reasons previously stated. Many of the issues that were brought up tonight during the public hearing could in theory be argued for any gravel instead of asphalt pavement throughout the entire city. The city has made a very firm stance on using pavement whenever you drive a vehicle or park a vehicle or load and unload a vehicle within our community. City staff are recommending that ask not be approved. We have put forward a total of 12 conditions of approval for this development. These conditions, specifically PUD deviation number 1, 2, and 3, reference the entire Gunderson site as a whole, as it is one overall PUD condition. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, Katie. So for clarity, the 12 conditions as they're stated in the packet include the site as being paved.
Yes, this would require the site to be paved if you approve it with the 12 conditions as laid out.
As outlined normally in our city rules.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, with that being said, I'll turn this matter over to the Plan Commission this evening.
Katie, so I see in the packet, well, first of all, I want to commend the city, I think, for all the due diligence in all matters, but especially those related to safety. As a community member and a Plan Commission member, I very much appreciate that. So I see, and you mentioned that the city contracted with a subject matter expert. Can you tell me why we went with Strand Associates, our experience with them and their credibility?
Should we have a motion on the floor before we begin?
I'm
the
sorry.
discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the Kinney Cooley Road South to install a gravel base instead of a surfacing.
Okay, well, the motion would be to approve the amendment with the 12 conditions or not, correct? You can't, it's not, the gravel base would have to be added as a condition or not. Because it's the whole amendment, right? Yeah.
So it would be approving the PUD tonight requires them to pave as stated. If the Plan Commission wanted to undo that, you would have to add another condition to allow them to have gravel.
But in any event, the motion is regarding the amendment. And then if the 12 conditions includes it paved, if you decide you don't want it paved, we need to add an additional condition. Am I right?
Or you could deny the PUD.
Or we could deny it, yeah. And refer to the attorney. She's the one with it.
That's where I was going with it.
Okay. Sorry, Eric.
Well, if we deny it, what happens next?
We can ask Katie or the attorney. If it was denied,
If it was denied, it would go to the Common Council for affirmation of the denial, and their project could still move forward and they would still be required to pave. So there's two ways to get to it.
But if we approve it, then the Common Council doesn't do anything.
If you approve it as stated in the packet, they would be required to pave it and the Common Council would consider it as well.
It'll go to Common Council either way.
but if they want them to have it be gravel,
They
they
should
would
add it.
have to approve the amendment, but add an additional condition allowing it to be gravel.
Yes.
So I would like to make a motion to deny the application to amend the Kinney Cooley Road South PCID, asking to install a gravel base instead of surfacing the driving parking area with a dustless all-weather material that will surround a microgrid located at 3150 Gunderson Drive, tax parcel 18-3638-0.
That will work.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Eric Archer. It's been seconded by, we'll go with Bill Lethan. The motion is to deny the amendment. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for sticking with it, Eric. I apologize. Further discussion.
So to that point,
Back to Eric.
I appreciate the due diligence in all matters, and especially here where safety is concerned. I think the outline from the city here is very clear, and I appreciate that. Central to this is a disagreement of factual items. So often I think what we see is opinion. This is facts and why that's interesting. So I appreciate you bringing in Strand Associates. Not being familiar, can you tell me a little bit about their bona fides with why we use them and their credibility so we can maybe weigh that?
Go ahead, Jared.
Sure. So we utilize various consultants at the city for engineering work. The consultant that was chosen for this project actually designed the city standby generator project that was just installed. They've designed 4 sanitary sewer lift stations and have worked on 2 well projects, and 1 well project was a total reconstruction. So this individual has worked on projects for the city for approximately 20 years.
Subject matter expert in your mind?
I would say he has about 35 years of engineering experience.
Thank you. Katie, did the city ask Power Corps for clarification once that discrepancy was identified?
The city did request that they provide in the cover letter documentation to back up the statements related to resistivity and using gravel versus a different material, and we did not receive a source.
Okay, so they did not provide any additional material once requested?
What you have in the packet was what the city received in reference to this application.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Okay, Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question for Clint and Michelle. Appreciate you bringing everything to the table and telling us about this. One thing that was brought up during Michelle's conversation with us was talking about needing to break the surface in order to work on it. I did seem to read that a lot of this will be overhead and conduit. So how often would it be that you would actually need to break the concrete to get in and repair something?
There is already a project that is planned to follow our project to amend the site to add another round of resiliency set of equipment, and that's already planned. So there's at least that level of activity in the future, as well as future planning as well. But there's substantial change to it. And the other part is that the site, while it looks large on the drawing because it's zoomed in to such a scale, this is not a site where a truck could drive in it. It is not a place for a truck to park. It's a place for a truck to maybe back some equipment in and leave. There would be no staging of vehicles on the site and no parking. It would be a one-time drop off a piece of equipment out the back of a truck and drive away type of situation, as there isn't enough space to turn around and there isn't enough space to maintain it. A human-driven snow removal equipment could work, but not in a vehicle in the site.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Jan?
I certainly don't understand this very well. Thank you all for clarifying, Katie. But is there any provision that you can allow them to put down gravel, and if there are issues to pave it? I mean, it's a city ordinance that we pave them, so I don't know. No, it's one or the other. You don't. Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. Any other questions? Jared?
So in our packet tonight, like on page 30, we're proposing to have them pave what they're going to be driving in on, which is a 12-foot wide, what I call possible drive lanes. Are we requiring them to pave between the two 12-foot around the equipment too? Because that can't be parked on.
The city is requiring that any proposed area that is gravel to be paved.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I just have a clarification. We had used Strand for our consultant. And I believe the lady on the phone said that this is an industry best practice. And so I was wondering, does Strand disagree with that? Is that what he's saying, that this isn't an industry best practice for this setup?
He reviewed the proposed plans and the documents that were given, and he stated originally within the cover letter, the biggest emphasis was on safety and that gravel was the safest. And he disagreed and said that asphalt would actually be more safe than gravel.
Okay, all right. That's what I need to clarification. Thank you.
So, yeah, I think what Katie's saying is based on the information she was given.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I just heard industry best practice a couple of times, and I just wanted to see if that was in conflict with what our recommendation would be. So,
Okay, any other
If-
questions or comments?
If I might be so bold as to clarify,
Um,
would that be possible?
No,
Okay.
this is the time for the commission to have their discussion. If they were to have a specific question, we may allow you to speak, but your opportunity was during the public hearing.
Thank you.
Jared, did you want to add something?
No.
Okay.
Just one question.
Sure, go ahead,
My
Mike.
question for Katie, is there anything that with the, so when we're looking at the image on page 30 that Jared Holter was outlining, is there any issue that would not allow this to be successful with this kind of middle part being paved? I guess I'm looking at the picture and you're not looking at what I'm looking at, but you can kind of see two driveways coming in and then the middle where the substation is. Is that, there's nothing that would prevent this from actually working with it being concrete, correct?
Not according to the information we received from our consultant.
Okay, thank you. No, I'm just I'm talking like, you know, if we were, you know, in the middle here, does everyone see what I'm talking about? Apologize if you don't, but there's kind of these two driveways that come in on page 30. And then when we get about halfway down, we see another kind of smaller rectangle between the two. That portion in there, you know, being paved, that doesn't create any kind of issues for them to actually do the project is what I was asking.
Correct.
Okay.
Not according to the consultant that we had review the project. There was no issue
Okay,
to make
thank you.
them pay.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to deny the amendment. Get back to my number here. The amendment to the PCID application. Is there any further discussion? Okay, so a yes vote is you're in favor of denying the amendment. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The amendment has been denied. Thank you. Item 7 is a public hearing for a planned commercial industrial district PCID amendment application to facilitate site updates to the parcel, signage, parking lot, maintenance, accessibility, and install a new exterior walk-in box and request deviations from the Unified Development Code, including but not limited to reducing the parking lot setback from 5 feet to a parcel boundary, reducing the outdoor light pole setback from 3 feet to the parcel boundary, and reducing the freestanding sign setback from 5 feet to the parcel boundary. This is located at 1243 Crossing Meadow Drives. This is tax parcel ID number 183300-0. The applicant is Tessera on behalf of Hazabell of Nebraska LLC. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this PCID amendment, now is the time to do so.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Jones. I work for Tesserae on behalf of Hazabell of Nebraska for the existing Taco Bell at 1243 Crossing Meadow Drive. As you stated, we're looking to make site improvements to the existing site and building that enhance the customer and employee experience, and also improve their ADA accessibility and making sure that people have access to the building. I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this PCID amendment? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Last call for anyone wishing to speak in favor of the amendment. That portion is closed, and we'll ask if anyone would like to speak against the amendment. Anyone wishing to speak against? Third and final call for anyone wishing to speak against this amendment. The public hearing is now closed, and I'll ask Katie Aspenson to summarize this item for the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. Taco Bell is intending to make modifications to their existing site by updating the exterior of the building with brand imaging, installing a new walk-in box to replace the existing walk-in cooler and freezer, and complete parking lot maintenance by filling in potholes, restriping stalls, and adding new directional arrows. The applicant is requesting 3 modifications from the Unified Development Code and Sign Code to bring the parcel into compliance with the city ordinance, specifically related to reducing the parking lot setback from 5 feet from a property, reducing the outdoor light pole setback from 3 feet from a parcel boundary, and reducing the freestanding sign setback from 5 feet from a parcel boundary. The city considered the following items: density, PUD perimeter, lot area, building height, environmental and cultural design, open space, architecture, parking, streets, utilities and drainage, traffic calming designs, circulation and access, and landscaping. All of those items, there are no deviations requested. The site is compliant with the code. So we'll be focusing on the first is number 4, yard setbacks today. The structure adheres to site dimension standards for the B3 district found in table 13.02.25-1. Parking lots are required to have a minimum of a 5-foot setback from a parcel line, and outdoor lighting installations are required to have a minimum setback of 3 feet from a parcel line. The applicant is requesting to maintain the light poles and the parking lot in the present locations to reduce the amount of parking for the development and interrupt vehicle flow throughout the site. City staff are in support of these requests to maintain the existing parking lot setback, as the original approval of the Taco Bell in 1992 allowed a reduced parking lot setback down to 2 feet from a parcel line. City staff further support the request to maintain a reduced setback for outdoor lighting installations, as setbacks were not determined for the original development. The next item to review is in reference to number 14 for signage. Freestanding signs are required to be set back a minimum of 5 feet from parcel lines. The existing freestanding pylon sign was permitted by the city and is considered legal non-conforming. The applicant obtained a sign permit for the freestanding sign in 1992 with no required setbacks. The applicant requests to maintain the site in its present location. City staff support the request to maintain the existing freestanding sign setback, as the original approval of the Taco Bell in 1992 did not specify a setback for the original installation. City staff have put together 9 conditions of approval for this development. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, what is the desire of the Plan Commission this evening?
I can make a motion to approve the PCID amendment application to facilitate the site updates with the signage, parking lot maintenance, and accessibility. Install a new exterior walk-in box and request deviations from this Unified Development Code, including but not limited to the reducing the parking lot setback from 5 feet from the parcel boundary, reducing the outdoor light pole setback from 3 feet from the parcel boundary, and reduce the freestanding sign setback from 5 feet from the parcel boundary. This is a property located at 1243 Crossing Meadow Drive, tax parcel ID number 18-3300-0.
I'll second.
Sorry, and this would be a motion to approve with the 9 conditions of approval.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made to approve with 9 conditions by Mike Milky. It's been seconded by Tom Smith. Is there any discussion? Not seeing or hearing any. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item number 8 is the Clearwater Meadows final plat application containing 7 acres of land, parcels of land, not 7 acres, 7 parcels of land for future residential development. This is located at 950 Greens Coulee Road. It's tax parcel ID number 1860750. The applicants are Scenic Valley Properties LLC and Terry Davis. Katie?
Thank you. This final plat is to facilitate a development consisting of 7 new single-family dwelling units to be located on new parcels. The applicant obtained a PUD amendment and rezoned the parcel in August of 2024 to accommodate this development. All of the proposed parcels adhere to the site and lot dimension standards, table 13.02.24-1 and table 13.02.24-2 for a single-family dwelling in the R2 district of the Unified Development Code. This final plat contains land within the Savannah Oaks PUD. If approved, the applicant will be required to apply and obtain approval for the final plat with the Department of Administration, which is already underway. City staff have put together 21 conditions of approval for this development. Thank you.
Thank you. What is the desire of the Plan Commission this evening?
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat application containing 7 parcels of land for future residential development located at 950 Green Coulee Road, tax parcel 18-6075-0 with the 21 conditions as outlined in agenda item 8.
Second.
A motion has been made by Eric Archer. It's been approved by Mike Milky to approve the Clearwater Meadows final plat application with the 21 conditions. Is there any discussion? Not seeing or hearing any. Motion on the floor is to approve with 21 conditions. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item number 9 is for closed session. To consider a motion to convene in closed session under section 1985-1E of the Wisconsin statutes for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically reviewing consideration of amending a development agreement with Traditional Trades LLC. If any action is required in open session as a result of the closed session, the commission will reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and/or continue on with the printed agenda. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Eric Archer. It's been seconded by Tom Smith. Please answer when your name is called. Mike Milky,
Aye.
Jared Holter,
Aye.
Jan Brock,
Aye.
Tom Smith,
Aye.
Eric Archer,
Aye.
Bill Lethan.
Aye.
We are in closed session. The time is 6:52. Thank you.